been reports of explosions in the capital of Yemen. This is Sana'a. 3 explosions heard in Yemen's Sana'a, according to witnesses. This is via Reuters. They are claiming that the United States and Britain have started military action. That's according to the Reuters news agency. We haven't independently verified that. So that's the breaking news on the story that we've obviously been covering as our lead this evening. But 3 explosions, according to witnesses, have been heard in Yemen's Sana'a, the capital. There will, of course, keep you updated on that story as more information comes into us on that. Just seeing if there's anything else coming in. We're hoping to get some more reports on this developing story shortly. James Matthews, our correspondent in Washington, D.C., is being lined up to update us as to what the US are saying now. Previously, we'd had briefings from the Pentagon not pointing to any imminent action this evening, and we know that we've had the cabinet call this evening, the full cabinet call in the United Kingdom with Rishi Sunak. We believe possibly that the Foreign Secretary, Lord Cameron, is still in talks with the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, as we haven't seen him leave Downing Street. But let's get an update now from James Matthews, who's in Washington, D.C. for us. Can we confirm these reports that we're getting via Reuters, James, that there have been strikes in Yemen's capital, Sana'a, this evening?
Hi, Gillian. Yeah, we don't have any official confirmation from London or from Washington, D.C. What we have is a report from Reuters quoting 4 US officials saying that attacks have begun. And within the last couple of minutes, a Houthi official is quoted as saying that what they refer to as enemy raids have taken place on Sana'a in Yemen. That is added to these witness reports that you've been referring to of at least 3 explosions being heard. So eyewitness evidence coupled with unofficial guidance at this stage would tend to indicate that these attacks are underway. The guidance had been that it was a matter of hours prior to that cabinet meeting. So in terms of the timing, the projected timing, the guidance that we have been getting from top-level sources on either side of the Atlantic, it would tie in with what is being reported now. It would appear that these attacks are indeed underway. Still many questions at this stage. We still await official confirmation, of course, and we await confirmation of what these targets are and indeed where they are. According to that Houthi official who's being quoted on the news wires, he's talking about enemy raids in Sana'a, which would tend to indicate a built-up area. But that, of course, is merely coming from one source, unconfirmed. We will await official confirmation in due course, presumably from the people who have fired the missiles in the UK and the United States, and also from the people in Yemen at the other end.
And James, how quickly would we expect to hear from the United States? I mean, it's not against protocol that they would not have actually made it clear that this was about to happen for obvious reasons.
Indeed, I think they have been silent so far, Gillian, certainly on this side of the Atlantic, for reasons of operational security. There will come a point when that isn't a factor anymore. But, you know, this is a military operation, missiles being fired. We don't know if there's anything involved beyond that, but clearly there is a risk involved to the military personnel who are engaged in that action. So I think it will be at that point when there is no danger to the allies who have fired these missiles, hit those targets. They will also want to have a handle on the success or otherwise of the operation. Clearly, they have targets in mind. They will want to know that these targets have been hit. they will want to know if there has been collateral damage. The question is, what were the targets? There was a leak recently from the US military that seemed to list what, to all intents and purposes, looked like a hit list. It was talking about ammunition sites, missile silos, and so on, looking like military bases. And presumably, should that have been the hit list, then there would have been military bases to minimise or avert, indeed, civilian casualties. So that will be a big issue, clearly, uppermost in the minds of US, the UK and their other allies, the targets involved and whether or not these targets have indeed been hit. So they will want to get a handle on the success of the mission before they start fleshing out the detail. But equally, they will want to confirm what is being reported unofficially. They will want to take control of the narrative. We already have, as I say, a Houthi official talking about the enemy hitting targets in Sana'a. That may or may not be the case. We only have the word of a Houthi official in the United States and the United Kingdom. They will want to give their official guidance and confirmation of exactly where these targets are, with a view to reflecting the genuine nature of the operation. If they are military targets in areas away from built-up areas, away from civilian populations, that is something that the US and UK will want to stress. They don't want any kind of misreporting that built-up areas have been targeting if that is not the case, because clearly that wouldn't be an ideal scenario in a situation where there is a danger of escalation and the prospect of anything going wrong, the prospect of civilian casualties being involved, then that clearly might be a trigger for any adversary who is of a mind to engage in escalated conflict, retaliation. Bear in mind that the Houthis have said that they would retaliate in a stronger way than they attacked on Tuesday. Remember, on Tuesday, Gillian, they fired more than 20 drones and missiles in a single attack in the Red Sea. The Houthis have warned that vengeance would be greater than that if they were to come under attack. But the background to this, of course, is the regularity, the nature of the Houthi action in the Red Sea. It has been consistent. More than 20 attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea and surrounds, and we have clearly reached the point where the US and UK have decided that enough is enough and that their verbal warnings need to be followed through with definitive and direct military action. Joe Biden certainly has come under considerable pressure from hawkish members of his administration. Certainly people within the Pentagon haven't been impressed by what they would regard as Biden being weak, Biden being slow to respond to these Houthi attacks. There have been calls for him to reassert American power in light of these attacks, to reinforce US deterrence, to follow through the warnings against the Houthis with a willingness, a demonstrated willingness to react. And that is what we appear to have. Joe Biden satisfying his critics. There is a danger, of course, that having done something, he may have gone too far. But of course, there's a danger in doing nothing. Dangers in being seen to be weak, being undermining his posture as a potential peace broker in the Middle East, and undermining his stature generally as the leader of the free world who's looking over the region and looking to influence the shape of the Israel-Hamas conflict. Had he done nothing, there would also have been those who would have looked further afield and said, well, look, you're in a situation where the likes of China, adversaries, potential foes, pose a threat to Taiwan. To be seen to be slow to react and to be seen to be weak in the Red Sea situation would send out all the wrong signals from the United States. So that's where we are at the moment.